The descent from the sky was anything but peaceful. Embraced by Hermes, Belle plummeted at high speed toward the school district, feeling the wind tear his clothes and fear rising almost instinctively. The artificial ground approached too quickly, the gods laughed, and panic took hold when the impact seemed inevitable. At the last instant, the flying boots opened their wings in a desperate attempt to break, but even so, the two fell violently onto piles of boxes and construction materials. Belle survived unscathed, stunned by his own body still intact, while Hermes celebrated his growth as an adventurer. The noise of the fall, however, brought immediate problems. Alarms sounded, armed students appeared on high alert, and tranquility vanished in seconds. While Belle was still trying to understand the situation, Hermes revealed that the place had means of detecting invisibility, and, without hesitation, made a cruel and practical decision. He ripped off Belle's invisibility armor and left him as bait, fleeing alone. Thrown to the ground and abandoned in the middle of the chaos, Belle found himself surrounded by students who mistook him for a victim of the incident, not an intruder. Taking advantage of their concern, Belle pointed in a false direction to throw off the pursuit, managing to escape by a hair's breadth. When he was finally alone, the relief came heavy, almost making his legs give way. It was then that he noticed something strange. He was dressed in a school district uniform, perfectly fitted to his body. Understanding that this was part of Hermes' plan, Belle decided not to stay there. Still trembling, he got up and moved on, without imagining that, a few steps ahead, he would find a scene capable of making him completely forget the danger he had just faced. As he moved away from the place of the fall, Belle was swallowed by a vision that left him speechless. The alleys gave way to wide cobblestone streets and a landscape that seemed impossible for something built on a ship. White stone buildings lined up in perfect symmetry, with blue roofs reminiscent of churches or cathedrals, forming such a harmonious ensemble that it looked more like a sacred city than a school. For a moment, Belle completely forgot the risk of being discovered and simply walked, admiring the view. As he moved forward, he noticed details that revealed the extreme care in every corner. Magic stone lanterns displayed inscriptions of graduating classes, elegant arches crossed the streets, statues of goddesses emerged among the buildings. There were no classrooms. There were enclosed establishments that resembled shops, areas that evoked upscale residential neighborhoods. Even with the limited space of the hull, there was no feeling of confinement. Evergreen trees softened the landscape, making the environment vibrant and welcoming. The excitement grew uncontrollably. Just like the first time he had set foot in Orario, Belle felt his heart race before a world too new to be ignored. Forgetting about caution, he began to run through the streets, climbing stairs, advancing to a higher point. As he placed his hands on the railing and looked ahead, he had the feeling of being in front of something too grand to be called just a school district. Excitement took over, transforming each step into discovery, each glance into wonder. From above, the view was even more impressive. A sea of white buildings stretched as far as the eye could see, all crowned by blue roofs that reflected the light of the sky. The city seemed organized around a central axis, from which wide avenues spread in all directions, dividing sectors with almost perfect precision. Among the uniform buildings, one structure stood out in a special way, a huge stadium made of a gleaming white material, so striking that it stood out even amidst the surrounding beauty. Further on, near the stern of the ship, a vast green area emerged like a park of gigantic proportions, large enough to swallow several buildings of that size. Still, nothing compared to the dominant presence of the central tower. Not as colossal as Babel, but tall enough to command respect, it stood like the true heart of the school district. Its appearance was not only grand, but majestic, conveying the feeling that everything in that place revolved around it. As Belle contemplated the whole, he was overcome by a strange familiarity. The circular layout, the tower in the center, the avenues radiating outwards, everything resembled the labyrinthine city of Orario. The idea that this school might have been built as a kind of reflection or model of the city of adventurers seemed to make sense. Still, there were clear differences. Everything there was cleaner, more elegant, and serene, a direct counterpoint to the vibrant chaos of Orario. Standing before that small floating city, Belle understood that he was facing a world of its own, a distant relative of Orario, suspended between the sea and the sky.